Hi, I'm Tristan. I'm 13 years old. I'm curious, I'm passionate, and I'm sure you are too. Join me on a quest to dig deep and find out new things. Welcome to Youth Voices. Good evening. Welcome to my program. This is your host Tristan Pang on Planet FM 104.6. Youth Voices. Good to have you company on this Saturday evening. In today's show, we will have Paul Hannon in the studio with us. I'll also share with you some inspirational quotes and stories. But first, I would like to share with you my wonderful meeting with Kia's people on Wednesday. I met the business and event consultant, Nicole Lyosa, and the director of the world-class New Zealand network, Stephen D, at their High Street headquarters. They're very excellent, and I was amazed by their wonderful ideas of connecting New Zealanders around the globe. Kia helps the 1 million Kiwis living offshore connect with home and with one another, enabling them to share and leverage global experiences, knowledge, and opportunities. The organisation is governed by a global board of directors and administrated by Kia teams operating in Auckland, London, and Shanghai. So Kia's network continues to grow in reach and influence, with over a quarter of the estimated million Kiwis living overseas and many friends of New Zealand in the Kia community. Kia is New Zealand's worldwide network, connecting people with others, including McDonald's, Facebook, and Samsung. You may have heard of the very popular annual World Class New Zealand Awards, which is actually hosted by Kia. And these are New Zealand's most prestigious individual achievement awards, recognising inspirational, world-leading Kiwis and friends who are making outstanding contributions to New Zealand and to the world. They are also holding many other events, such as Kia's Inspire. It brings the inspiration stories of world-changing, world-leading Kiwis as they take on the world. Presenters inspire people by their personal challenges and victories, and these are exceptional individuals have accounted on their path to global success across business, technology, medicine, charity, sports, and more. They also have a free Kia app, which you can connect with one another, find Kiwi events, and New Zealand-owned businesses. There are many more good stuff from Kia. Just go to their website, www.kianewzealand.com, to find out more. Let's quote. An African proverb said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. Isn't Kia doing a great job for us Kiwis to go far? Let's be inspired. The Miracle of $1.11, a true story from academictips.org. Tess was an 8-year-old when she heard her mum and dad talking about her little brother, Andrew. All she knew was that he was very sick and they were completely out of money. They were moving to an apartment complex next month because the dad didn't have the money for the doctor bills and our house. Only a very costly surgery could save him now, and it was looking like there was no one to loan them the money. She heard her dad say to her tearful mother with a whispered desperation, only a miracle can save him now. Tess went to her bedroom and pulled a glass jelly jar from its hiding place in the closet. She poured out all the change on the floor and counted it carefully, 3 times even. The total had to be exactly perfect. No chances here for mistakes. Carefully placing the coins back in the jar and twisting on the cap, she slipped out the back door and made her way 6 blocks to the pharmacy. She waited patiently for the pharmacist to give her some attention, but he was too busy at the moment. Tess twisted her feet to make a scuffling noise. Nothing. She cleared her throat with the most disgusting noise she could muster. No good. Finally, she took a quarter from her jar and banged it on the glass counter. That did it! And what do you want? The pharmacist asked in an annoyed tone of voice. I'm talking to my brother from Chicago, whom I haven't seen in ages, he said without waiting for a reply to his question. Well, I want to talk to you about my brother, Tess answered back in the same annoyed tone. He's really, really sick, and I want to buy a miracle. I beg your pardon, said the pharmacist. His name is Andrew, and he has something bad growing inside his head, and my dad says only a miracle can save him now. So how much does a miracle cost? We don't sell miracles here, little girl. I'm sorry, but I can't help you, the pharmacist said, softening a little. Listen, I've the money to pay for it. If it isn't enough, I'll get the rest. Just tell me how much it costs. The pharmacist's brother was a well-dressed man. He stooped down and asked the little girl, "What kind of miracle does your brother need?" "I don't know," Tess replied with her eyes welling up. "I just know he's really sick, and Mum says he needs an operation, but my dad can't pay for it, so I want to use my money." "How much do you have?" asked a man from Chicago. $1.11, Tess answered, barely audible. "And it's all the money I have, but I can get some more if I need to." "Well, what a coincidence," smiled the man. $1.11, the exact price of a miracle for little brothers. He took her money in one hand, and with the other, he grasped her mitten and said, "Take me to where you live. I want to see your brother and meet your parents. Let's see if I have the kind of miracle you need." That well-dressed man was Dr. Carlton Armstrong, a surgeon specializing in neurosurgery. The operation was completed without charge, and it wasn't long until Andrew was home again and doing well. Mum and Dad, both happily talking about the chain of events that had led them to his place. "That surgery," her mum whispered, "was a real miracle. I wonder how much it would have cost." Tess smiled. She knew exactly how much a miracle cost, $1.11 plus the faith of a little child. When we swim, we don't grab hold of the water, because if we do, we will sink down and drown. Instead, we relax and float. We should have faith like we are in water. Faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of this faith is to see what you believe. Let's talk! My feature guest today is one of the most important people at Planet FM. Without him, our programs would not sound as good as now. He is Paul Hannon, the technical producer at Planet FM. Paul was born in the UK and moved to Ireland before coming to New Zealand in 2011. Paul is a great musician both in the UK and in New Zealand. Before moving to New Zealand, Paul worked at 2 radio stations in Ireland called Flood FM and iRadio. He's been DJing for over 15 years and has played alongside some well-known names. Paul has not only a fun and cheerful personality, but also a very patient and kind nature. I'm new to the broadcasting and sometimes make mistakes, such as making a wrong pronunciation, but he never says things that are nasty. Instead, he encourages me by saying he found it difficult to pronounce too, but I know he doesn't. He tried to make me feel that I'm not alone and make me feel good about myself. I know he wants me to have confidence in myself. I enjoy coming to the studio to work with Paul. He's always keen to teach me new things. I know I can learn a lot from him. I'm pleased to have him as my guest today. Hello, Paul. Welcome to my show.
Thank you, Tristan. Thank you for having me.
Well, you have a very interesting career. I think it would be fun working with the musicians and the radio people every day. So, is it the career you dreamt of when you were young? Or did you like music when you were a child? And can you also tell us about your childhood?
Was this a job I wanted as a kid? I guess it was, yeah, because when I was about maybe a little bit older than you, maybe 14, and I used to listen to the radio quite a lot, and I was very much into music, and I said to myself, that's the job I want to be in, because I thought all the DJs on radio got free music, and that was the only reason I wanted to go on radio, was because I wanted to get free music. So, yeah, and I tried to get into radio from that point on. And my childhood, well, I used to live in pubs or bars. That's my parents used to run pubs and bars in the UK, so we used to live above them. And because of that, my dad used to always buy new music, so he would always have fresh music on the background music system. So I'd always hear loads of new stuff. And because of that, I kind of got into loads of different types of music. So it could be old stuff, it could be new stuff, and it was like rock, and it'd be hip hop and things like that. So I think my childhood had a lot of music influences in it unintentionally. And that kind of got me into the whole wanting to do something on radio or something to do with music. It's great that you chased your dream and finally got it. So it seems that you have many job commitments.
can you tell us about your job? And can you also tell us one of your most memorable job experiences and why?
Well, my job here at Planet FM is to make sure your show sounds brilliant, and that's why it does. It's all my doing, really. I also have to make sure that the shows that we make here on Planet FM go out on their time slots correctly, and that there's no problems when they go out on the radio. So there's a lot of monitoring and a lot of making sure schedules are adhered to. My other job is I work as a DJ, mostly on the weekends. So that involves a lot of gathering of music, being up to date with new stuff and following trends. And one of the most memorable times in this kind of line of work, I think, was when I did work experience in the BBC at the Television Centre in London years and years and years ago. And I remember walking out of the big gates of the BBC in London, and there used to be a band called OTT. They were like, say, One Direction of their time, and there was all these girls outside like cheering and screaming, hoping they'd see some of the band members. And as I was far away from the gate, all the girls thought I was one of the band members. And as I was walking closer and closer to the gates, started getting all these girls screaming and screaming. And then as I got closer, they realised it wasn't me, and they went, "Oh, it's not him," and they all shut up. I was quite disappointed, but that was quite memorable.
You're marvelous. That's cool. You're really multi-talented. Very interesting. So now could you tell us one of your masterpieces?
One of my masterpieces? You mean a piece of music I've made?
Yes. Yeah.
I've only kind of really started getting into it in the last 2 years properly, I guess. And I've made maybe 3 or 4 original tracks, I guess. And then I've done some remixes. So like tracks you would know, like say stuff by Daft Punk, for example. I've made remixes of their stuff, all for my own use. But there's one I'm working on at the moment called Smoke. There's no real reason behind the name. We just decided that would be the name we'll go with. And that's one I've kind of nearly finished. In fact, it's probably finished now, but I'm just tweaking 1 or 2 things. And it kind of just came about, it's the inspiration for the track is just taking in the sounds that I like. So I like certain piano sounds or a certain style from a certain time in the past. And I've tried to replicate the kind of music I'm into and put it into my own stuff. So as long as I'm enjoying it, then that should, in theory, mean the track is a good track. I hope so anyway.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear your music. Can you tell us 3 people who've influenced you so our young listeners can also learn from them, and why? 3
people, wow. I like Richard Dawkins. I like the way he inspires people to employ critical thinking and to kind of ask. Well, at least he's known for his atheism, but also I think he tries to get people to kind of think for themselves and ask questions as to why. Musically, I suppose that's a tough question. There's so many people out there. You could innovators. I really like anyone who tries new stuff. So bands, I like Left Field. They were kind of an inspiration. They'd be someone you could look up maybe on Wikipedia or Google. A group I used to really like as well was Oasis. Way back when, they kind of inspired me. I know they're not people, but there's a group, they were kind of like, just because their attitude towards was totally different to everything else, they kind of broke the mold in a way of attitudes towards the media and stuff like that. And another person who inspires me, I guess, would be, I have to say, Stephen Hawkins, which sounds completely unrelated to anything I'm into, but just the fact that, a man who's got so many things working against him still has absolutely blown the entire universe apart, really, with all his theories and the way he's just completely and utterly obliterated adversity in his way to getting to what he wanted to do. I think he's an absolute inspiration to all of us, or at least he should be.
So that's great. I agree with you. So it's Richard Dawkins with critical thinking.
Yeah.
Lee Field about music, and also Oasis, is it? Oasis. And also Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually like him too. He's quite brilliant, I think.
I'm not surprised.
We thank you, Paul, for coming to my show today. He will tell us more next week. Don't miss it. It's at 5:20 p.m. on Saturday, Planet FM 104.6. If you want to listen to my other shows, please click onto my website, www.questisfun.org.nz/youthvoices. So for today, that's it from me, Tristan Pang. Thank you for listening. I welcome your feedback and your support of the program. Please write to me on Facebook or email me to youthvoicesnz@gmail.com. Don't forget to like Youth Voices with Tristan Pang on Facebook. Have a good Saturday. Good night, world. Join me again next Saturday at 5:20 p.m. to dig deeper, or listen anytime online at planetaudio.org.nz/youthvoices. Youth Voices.